I'm going to ask you both the same question here. Why elder law? So you go to law school. You could have gone into anything. And I know there's estate planning in there as well. And
yeah, you're absolutely right.
Living wills and all of that kind of things. But you could have gone down any law or legal road. What was it about elder law for you that just drew you to it?
I felt that older people need a voice.
Ooh.
You know, we're in a society where we don't necessarily value older people always.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as children, as parents, we want our children to have their own lives, and they end up moving away. And sometimes, from my perspective, is we need to protect them. You know, they are not necessarily a protected class. They are vulnerable, and we see all of these vulnerabilities that come out in whether it's financial abuse and fraud and other things like that. So for me, it felt really important to, you know, as you start working with them, you just find yourself compelled to be able to do more. And I don't know, I think you might feel the same way.
Yeah, Ned.
I think the vulnerability is probably one of the biggest attractions to me about it. That if you think about it, you're looking at somebody who at one point wasn't vulnerable, that was completely capable, but as we all age, that oftentimes we lose our faculties, or we start to slip, as some people might say. And when you think about the people who would naturally be protecting an elderly person, such as a child or another family member, they're still looking at them and hoping that they're the person that they knew growing up.
That's true.
And so there's that tendency to, if you notice someone slipping, that first of all, you know, you still respect them, right? They're still your parent, so you don't want to tell them, Mom, Dad, you can't manage your checking account any longer.
That's a tough conversation to have.
Right.
Wow.
So there is that reluctance by children or by family members to say that. So that the vulnerability can continue on for quite a long time. And in the meantime, as Marianne mentioned about financial exploitation, that is something that was actually part of that case that Marianne and I met on, that there was a lot of money that had one child, you know, of the mother who was in a, you know, who needed significant care, had just taken over things to the exclusion of the other sibling. And then when we got to the bottom of it, there was a lot of money that was missing.
Did they take over like as power of attorney? Did they take over their lives more than other siblings? Do you find that, I guess automatically you think of scam artists that would scam the elderly because maybe they're most prone. You always hear this around Christmas time. You know, there's always these different scams going on, and they target senior citizens specifically.
Absolutely.
Because they're not maybe as tech savvy as someone much younger than them. But do you find that it's more family members? Do you find that it's more scam artists, that they're just a random person in someone's computer? Do you find that it's a caretaker, whether it's aging in place or it's institutional type of setting where a caregiver would be an employee of that facility? Or is it a culmination of everything that you find more cases gravitating towards?
I think it's all of the above. But I don't know if you remember, Ned, but in the case that Ned and I met in, there was actually a forged power of attorney.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember?
Oh. How did I forget that one? Yeah.
All right. So there was a power of attorney document in that one. It turned out to be fraudulent. It was forged. But Ned and I, you and I had a pretty recent conversation about how financial abusers, people take advantage. There was a pattern. And do you remember us talking about it? Go ahead.
I've seen it so many times that it's kind of crazy. It makes me think that there must be some school out there that teaches people how to take advantage of an elderly person. And the pattern kind of goes like this, that the elderly person is in need of assistance. And so either a family member or a non-family member caregiver starts taking care of that person. And then things start happening where they start creating a dynamic between the person needing care, the elderly person.
A special relationship, you're saying.
Right,
Yeah.
right. They do develop that, and then what we've seen happen is that then that person starts telling the elderly person that their family doesn't care about them, that they're the only ones that can really take care of them. In the meantime, when family members are calling, they're being told, no, they can't come to the phone now. No, they don't want to talk to you. And it's this escalation, and it's a way of isolating the elderly person to make them 100% dependent upon them. And then they can then, do what they want to do and say, well, I need more, I need money, or I need this. And it's crazy how the step pattern happens time and time again. It's
You're manipulating them. You're taking advantage of them. You're saying, well, I don't see Sally here or Bobby here.
Exactly
I'm the
right.
one that takes care of you every day. They can, but they're choosing not to be here. I don't want to get crazy here, but maybe I should be getting a little bit more from your will.
What happens is that the people who are good at it are very patient. And so they'll start off, a day like today, and they'll start off and say, do you want me to help you brush off your car? Or do the stoop for you? And bring you some soup? Because do you need anything at the grocery store? I'm heading out to the grocery store. And so you start off with this very, kind, let me just do a few things for you. And it's so sad that your child lives in New York City and can't do these things for you. But I'm here, and if you ever need anything, just remember I'm here for you. Right? And so the pattern starts that way. And then the elderly person starts relying on them. And that's when it kicks in. Because they're like, give me some money for groceries. Right? It doesn't start, they don't jump to put me in your will. They start off with
Something very innocuous, just,
Yeah.
Let me help you with your balancing your checkbook.
There you go.
Right? It looks like you're having trouble with that, so I can help you out. And
do you find that these individuals, and I'm talking about the perpetrator here, are they've done this before? Is there a pattern where they like to help out various elderly and go from one person to another, or how do they even have that kind of access, I guess? Is it always a family member? Maybe I should have asked you it that way.
no, it's not. I think that there is as Marianne said before, that there is a mix of family members and caregivers who are giving care in the home. Those to me are the two main people that or types of people that we've run across. Regarding whether there are repeat offenders, so to speak, I don't know. I don't know anything about that because I don't know. Thankfully, that we have not had to run across a case where there's been we've had a client who's been financially exploited by an individual, and then down the road, and then that's resolved, and then down the road we find another person who's been exploited by that same person. We haven't run into that. So my hope is once they've done it once and they got caught, then that's it, and then we move on.